and good evening, and welcome to the Manchester is Blue show. We've got a bit of a bumper show for you tonight, talking about the epic, stupendous Brighton game that we all watched yesterday. We've got City Dave, Dan Fielding having a quick nap, and Brian. How are we doing, lads? We okay?
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
Not too
happy
bad,
for the
boys.
3 points.
Dave, little thing for you here. On this day in 1994, Francis Lee's consortium takes over Manchester City for £7.5 million. The first game of that era, yes, today, the first game of that era was a 2-1 win against Ipswich Town. How's that for you, for starters?
That is brilliant, and I was at that game, and that not only will be remembered for Franny taking over, but that Rocky Rocastle turn that he did to set up Carl Griffiths.
Yes.
What a goal
Carl
that was!
Griffiths.
Absolutely sensational.
What a blast in the past that was. Did you have one of the little Franny Lee pin badges from the Sun and the posters that they used to give away? Did you have all that?
Everything, yeah. The Sun and the Mirror, they handed out so much stuff over the course of those few weeks, yes. And I think I've got all that stuff somewhere.
And I've got an even bigger stat for you today. Today, in 2015, we signed the one and only Wilfred Boney. 46 appearances, 11 goals, 7 assists, won the League Cup with us. What an absolute hero he was.
Yeah. And do you know who he's training with now?
Go on.
Newport County.
Is he really?
He is indeed. He's keeping himself fit at Newport County.
I saw Wilfred Boney once, and he was in his Range Rover. It was pimped out, as you can imagine, this black Range Rover. Not this typical sports one, but it had all the extension on the wheel arches, and he's obviously been to a car mechanic type thing where it's all the pimped up. And he had his hand on the window, on his window, and he had the biggest gold watch I've ever seen in my life. And I thought to myself, you do not play well enough to afford that watch. But then I realised how much he's actually earning. Unbelievable. If there was ever a carjacking, if I was ever going to get involved with one, it was that point, because I think he'd missed an absolute sitter the weekend before. But never mind, onwards and upwards. What do we think of the game last night, lads? Me and obviously Dan did the live stream, didn't we, Dan? We had a few technical issues, but we seem to be getting there somewhere along the line. But Dave, give us your input on the match, pal.
Good first half, but we couldn't make that breakthrough. I thought, thank goodness for Foden, towards the end. I think we had 72.5 possession in the first half, if I read the stat correctly. So we did all the right things. We just couldn't put it in the back of the net. I think Brighton, and even Pep Guardiola was talking about this before the game, that Graham Potter has a good philosophy towards football, and he's got some good players at Brighton, and they came out, actually both halves, but particularly in the second half, and really gave us a game. And I think my big takeaway from it was Foden playing very well, getting us the goal. De Bruyne playing well again, though he's struggling with his finishing. I think Brian pointed that out as well. And we kept another clean sheet, and we moved up to third. So I'm not gonna complain too much. We got the win, got a clean sheet, and our golden balls, Foden scored another goal. He's our top scorer this season now. Amazing.
And long may it continue. We're obviously seem to be hitting a rich vein at the moment, don't we? We were unbeaten 14 games, and we've got a game in hand. On top spot, we can't be too bad. Diaz and Stones are doing fantastically well. Brian, what was your take on the game last night?
I thought it was comfortable. I thought it was quite comfortable throughout it, really. I mean, teams like Brighton who actually want to play. It's nice to see, really, rather than just straight up 10 men behind the ball and just see if we can hang on for something. They actually give it a game, which is quite refreshing, really. I think playing with a false nine is what probably kept the score at 1. If we'd have had somebody down the middle through 90 minutes, we'd have probably got 3 or 4 out of that. The amount of good balls and good opportunities we had to put decent bits of possession together. But like I said, I think Foden, once again, I've spoke quite openly about the fact that he's going to struggle to get into that start of 11. But for me now, on form, he has to be in front of Sterling now, given these last few weeks and how Sterling's dipped a bit. He's got to be on that starting 11.
He's got to be. He's doing so well, and I don't know if anyone's been on social media over the last 12 hours, but Sterling has had an absolute hammering. He's really been the poster boy for City fans to vent a bit of frustration with, and I certainly did a little bit last night, didn't I, Dan? When Sterling had missed that penalty, and there was two, possibly three players better than him to take the penalty, and I still don't know why I took it, and I'm so frustrated. And I went away. I sat in the front room last night, and the missus had thought we'd lost because I was in such a bad mood. That tells you why I was so frustrated with it. And it's one of them. It's like, well, we won. We potentially didn't deserve to win. I think a draw would have been fine. I think Brighton played well, but they just didn't have any killer instinct, did they, Dan? They just didn't have anything up front that made us worry that much.
No, and one thing that annoyed me going back to Sterling is Pep's comments after the game, where he said De Bruyne was tired, and none of them really wanted to step up, and Sterling was the only one who wanted it, and the players allowed it because they wanted to give him a bit of confidence in front of goal. I'm sorry, but if De Bruyne is tired, firstly, get him off the pitch. If any player's tired, we're only 1-0 up.
He was too tired to take a penalty.
Well, that's the question. It doesn't make sense. But then he also went on to say that it was nice that his players gave Sterling the ball to build a bit of confidence up for Sterling, grab a goal. 90th odd minute, last minute penalty, only one goal up, knowing that Brighton could easily get it up the other end of the pitch, and they did. They threatened straight after we missed that penalty. 90th minute with a penalty is not a way to build confidence at all. You give them a tap-in. You don't give them a penalty. If anything, now that has shattered Raheem Sterling's confidence in front of goal more than built it up. And I know it was only a penalty, but that was an appalling penalty. You do not give someone out of form on the ball a penalty in the 90th minute. Granted, we're only 1-0 up, but like I said, Brighton went up the other end of the pitch straight after and could have easily nicked it from us,
You know what Pep's going to do on Sunday, don't you?
Play him.
Going to play him. He's definitely going to play him. Absolutely play him. He'll give him that opportunity again to go for it, and I don't blame him for playing him either. I think he needs to hammer it out of him. If anything has taken it down. I mean, he's a professional, isn't he? He shouldn't be too disheartened with that. Granted, you'll have your own confidence coming into games like this, but we've got to go into that game on Sunday absolutely all guns blazing. Two players that I wanted to talk about tonight was obviously Foden and Bernardo as well. They both seem to be hitting form right at the right time when we need him. Brian, did you notice that with them two last night?
I think it's more noticeable for me at least, with Silva. He's still got his swagger. He's his close little sprints in his possession. And he's very, very agile. He can get the ball and he'll turn at 45 degrees instantly and he's away from someone. And that is back in his game. I think the last 6 months prior to that, he's been missing it. Everyone could tell. It seemed like something weren't right, whether or not he was suffering with an injury or a bit of confidence stuff. But now you can see that he's got his swagger and that. If we can get that back in there, his work rate, which we've seen throughout most of the season prior to that, most of the games prior to the start of the season, should I say. I think we're like a new signing. It's such an impactful game because he can play anywhere across the middle and he can play anywhere across that front three for me, and have that work rate and that quick, nimble passing, and he likes to take a man on and he does create things with short, crisp passes. I think that for me is more noticeable is what we're seeing from the last few games at least.
Yeah, unlucky not to score as well. He's the one who hit the crossbar, right? It was Silva. Yeah,
it's still shaking.
Very unlucky not to score.
Yeah, it reminded me a bit of the goal he scored against United at Old Trafford. That actually just a bit further inside, but it did extremely well. And long may it continue. We've got to be seeing Bernardo and Silva starting on Sunday. But do you know what? I just get a feeling he's going to rest one of them. I don't know why. We'll talk about the Palace game shortly. But again, we saw Stones and Diaz doing their brick wall impression, didn't we, this weekend? I just honestly, as games keep going past and we keep getting more clean sheets, this is fantastic to build this up. And we got 4 or 5 games now on the bounce where actually, if we conceded, I'd be really disappointed from the way they've been playing over the last couple of months. What do you think, Dan? Do you think how long do you think this partnership can last for?
Well, the funny thing is, last night those two were even our best player defensively. It was Zinchenko for me. He was absolutely outstanding last night. I think he's gone under a lot of people's radars. So if we're looking to continue the clean sheets, I think we've got to have, as well as consistency of the back two, keep it with left back as well. I've said it all along. Zinchenko is our best defensive left back by a merry mile. Cancelo and Mendy are known more for their running up the bar or running up the field antics. Defending is not something they do. Cancelo can do it, yeah, but nowhere near as good as Zinchenko at left back. And he's only 22 still. He's the same age as Ruben Diaz, for Christ's sake, if not, I think just a little bit younger. Keep a bit of consistency within them three. I know right back's going to chop and change, but by the way, Pep's playing Cancelo. Cancelo's going to be a central midfielder before long. Keep Ruben Diaz and John Stones exactly the same, and keep Walker and Zinchenko as that constant back four in the league. Get a bit of game going. The more confidence they have in each other, the more clean sheets we're going to have. Granted, a lot of them will come for Ruben Diaz and John Stones, but the back four needs to be completely constant and work off each other. And last night, those three in particular were.
Couldn't agree more.
No one's kept more clean sheets than City this season. And it's 8. With that solid back three of Edison, Diaz and Stones, and the interchanging of Walker, Cancelo and Zinchenko. Dan, when we had the conversation a few months ago, I said Zinchenko will be lucky to make between 10 and 15 starts. Mendy and Aki being injured, and Mendy doing what Mendy does best, has given Zinchenko an opportunity to rejuvenate his career this season. It's up to him and Cancelo at left back now. I prefer Cancelo. I think he's a better footballer. I think he's better going forward. I think he's just all round better in Pep's fit. But Zinchenko has played fantastically well. He's going to smash that. What I said. He's going to start a lot more than from what I've seen in the last couple of games. He's done phenomenally well. Just want to have a bit of a chat.
Another thing I've got right.
Another thing you've got right. You're bigging yourself up, don't you?
Well, it's true.
For me, the thing with Zinchenko for me is that he doesn't complain. I'm continually surprised that I look at rumours that we're going to let him go for 15, 20 million or whatever. I know he was close to going to Wolves, but he never lets us down. Wherever he plays, he doesn't complain. I was watching quite a few of the little City Plus videos last night about when they talk to the players about who's most likely to and whatever, and Zinchenko seems to be incredibly popular with the whole team and the squad. Like they like him, and that's so important. So you've got a player who is captain of the country, doesn't let us down. He's a 7 out of 10 at least every time he plays, pretty much. He doesn't complain about when he's not playing. He loves Manchester City. He had the chance to go to Wolves for 16 million, and didn't want to go. He wanted to stay at City and fight his place. For me, those are the kind of players that I want at Manchester City. That they give their all. And to Dan's point, name me a better left back over the last couple of years for Manchester City. I don't think anyone can. I think he's a great asset for Manchester City Football Club. I really do.
My worry with Zinchenko on that, what you just said there, is if there is anybody going to lead the club, because we need to free up a space in that 25-man squad. Sadly, I think he is one of the two you might say we're going to have to let someone go, and it's going to have to be Zinchenko. Sadly, I think that is just down to his pure versatility and the fact that he's not necessarily a guaranteed starting in a position. I think he is the one that is closest to the exit door if we need to bring player X in for some reason.
See, the thing, I think you and me had this discussion not that long ago, Brian, about Zinchenko. I don't see Zinchenko leaving, per se. I see him, if we were to go out for an all-out left-back, which I completely disagree with. I don't want an experienced and established left-back, because why? It's going to be, we're only going to have that, such as Alaba. Everyone wants Alaba. He's 29. He's had a injury hit season for the past 2 years now. We're basically replacing an injured Mendy for a much older injured Alaba for 2-3 seasons the most. So then after that 3 season, we're going to have that same problem again. If we were going to replace left back position, Mendy has to go. For me, he has to. There's no other player. Right,
I agree.
Other than Zinchenko, Mendy's the first person out of those two that should leave. He's a pain in the backside off the pitch, and he's now adding absolutely nothing on the pitch. When he plays, he's so quiet this year. When he has played, he's just adding nothing. Zinchenko last night, granted he wasn't attacking, he was solid. The previous game, I think it was Chelsea, was it? He played last. again, absolutely solid performance. But going back to what you were saying, if we were to buy another left back that Pep wants to mould into the first team player, Zinchenko will become that Milner for us that he is for Liverpool. He will be that utility player anywhere on the pitch, because Zinchenko is that only player in our team that can play any position on that pitch, bar centre back and goalkeeper, obviously. You stick him in any other position, like Dave said, 7 out of 10 for me. And if we were to get rid of him, it would be one of the biggest mistakes we've done.
I agree with you. I just don't think it's enough. I just don't think he's got that trust.
He's only 22.
I know, but regardless of his age, left back is probably the place where we are we've got as much depth as anywhere on the pitch. Apart from centre back, left back is probably the most placed. And I think he's probably surplus to requirements. If we had a full fit squad, he ain't getting near the 18, really. As much as we are about Mendy, I just don't think he's good enough to be. I want him to be. I think he's great. I think that versatility is brilliant, but I think he's going to be his downfall.
I don't think he'd be that far out. I think if there was
but I just think that.
Oh no! I know what you mean.
His downfall. I think if we need to free up a space for, I don't know, say attacking midfielder like, I don't know, Hassan Aouar from somebody like that to come in, I think just for somebody to go out, I think it would be one of the first names out there, which is a shame. But if it's for the betterment of the squad, we are quite lucky to have quite a few left-hand sided players, and we've got Cancelo who can play there.
I think you just have to agree to disagree on that one, pal. I don't think he'll be leaving anytime soon, personally.
I don't think so. I don't think he will go. But I think, in the grand scheme of things, if you're looking at it as an asset,
would that be fair to say there's a lot more players that should be ahead of him to leave first, rather than he would be one of the first names?
I think so.
Such as Mendy's.
Yeah.
Interesting
Fair
point.
to say,
Yeah, interesting point, that, lads. Cancelo was what I wanted to have a quick chat to you about. How do you think he got on last night, Dave?
I thought he had another great game last night. I really do. I think me and Dan were having a little chat, last night as well, that I think Walker might struggle here to get back in the team on a regular basis. Cancelo is doing that well, not only defensively, but probably offers more offensively as well than Walker does, from an assist standpoint. I know Walker will bang in the odd goal for us as well, but Walker ain't getting any younger. And I think Cancelo's just proven his worth every game that he plays. You read the match stats afterwards, Cancelo's getting a 7 or 8 or 9 out of 10 every game, and saying that he's one of the best players on the pitch. And like, fair play, what a buy that was, because this is what we were expecting from Danilo, to kind of come in and move to that next step. So Cancelo did that. He was about as good as Danilo, and then he raised it another bar and took it to the next level for me. He's not having a bad game at the moment, and you can't say that about lots of our players. Some of them have an off day. Cancelo's just, knock on wood, he's just not having an off day right now. He's so consistent.
Yeah, just to give you a few stats from the game: 75 touches, 1 shot on target, 1 key pass. I think he should have had an assist from that, if I remember rightly, as well.
Yeah.
42 passes, 82% possess rate. 3 dribbles, 4-1, tackles 1-3, clearances 1, recoveries 5, aerials 1, and I think he's had an all-round solid performance. I think we're doing really well. It's funny, isn't it? Because the Zinchenko one's a bit of a mute point, because he had a slow back end of the last season, a slow start this season. I'm sure I would be quoted on the pod by saying that seeing him is done, good luck, goodbye. But once again, players have been bought in to be better than him. They've not been better than him, and he's just there working hard, crafting away, and he could end up being our first choice left back for the whole season. I
think he could be.
It's bonkers. I think fair play to him, absolutely fair play to him. He must have some phenomenal mental resilience to be not picked. I need to do well here. Plays well, picked again, and honestly, to be a footballer and have that bashing. That mental bashing, I think he's done fantastically well, and I think I'm going to be dead wrong, Dan, in what I said. Maybe.
I think it's great as well, the communication. I think that's helped tremendously Because if you think now, we have Edison, who speaks Portuguese because he's Brazilian. We have Cancelo, who's Portuguese and speaks Portuguese. And we have Diaz, who's Portuguese, so speaks Portuguese.
Bernardo
I'm
Silva.
telling you, that
Bernardo
actually really helps. I know they're probably speaking in English, you know, with Stones or Aki or whatever during
Have you
games. I
heard
get
Bernardo
that.
Silva
But I
speak English?
guarantee you the communication between Portuguese players or speakers is really helping them.
Have you heard Bernardo Silva speak English though? He's
Yeah.
got like the poshest foreign accent speaking English I've ever heard. He's like,
Yeah.
"Yes, I love playing my football. It's fun.
How did it go?
I love playing football."
It is very true.
Sounds
You're
like a
right, man.
40-year-old woman as well, but you know.
on the point of Cancelo though, obviously he's benefiting from playing a lot of games, but I don't know if you have noticed this, but he has a mistake in him, and that worries me. I don't know if you've seen it. He can give a sloppy pass away.
It's interesting you say that, because part of these stats is the recoveries 5. That means he's lost the ball and recovered it back 5 times.
I think he has got a mistake in him in that middle third, and we've been quite reliant on him to be the player that is playing out of position and playing everywhere. He's basically got free roam on that right hand side to go where he wants, right back, right mid, right wing, sometimes down the middle. Having the mistake in him like that is, for me, the only thing that is going to keep him from cementing down that position, because as good as he's been, Kyle Walker doesn't really have those mistakes in him. He's consistent, but Kyle Walker's got absolutely lightning pace to make up for those.
Yeah.
You know, and I was going to make the point a second ago then about in a year's time, obviously Kyle Walker's what, 32? Is he 32?
30 now.
I think so, yeah.
Just had his 30th birthday.
30th. So he's
30th.
30, yeah. So, I mean, I can see Kyle Walker staying with us another 5 years. Imagine, his pace isn't going to go, and if it does, you can play him in centre half. I think he'll be so valuable to us. I mean, what's he been here now? 5 years already. I think we're going to get another 5 out of him. He's
Especially you see Fernandinho, who's 35,
yeah,
going to 36.
I think he's going to be one of those stalwarts that are getting on for 9-10 years that with Fernandinho's and Aguero's the last 2 of that kind of backbone that we've had. I think we're looking at like John Stones and Kyle Walker as that next generation of those 9-10 plus years players, and I think Walker will eventually just slowly get slower and go into the centre back, and having Cancelo on the side of him who can just, if it come in, step in, do that forward work. Because let's be honest, Cancelo can play right wing if he wanted to. I wouldn't be worried.
Yeah, he can.
If a team she said Cancelo was playing right wing, I wouldn't think, oh, what's he doing? He just think, go on, I'll get stuck in.
Agreed.
Thing with Walker that he's also prone to a mistake in the penalty box for me, though, Walker. Granted, he is a great player, and I love the way Pep utilises his pace, especially when we go up for set pieces and corners. Walker's always back there to stop the counter-attack. His pace is massive factor in his game for City. But it was beginning of the season. Was it Leicester where he gave away the penalty?
I think he's done like 3 this season.
Yeah, he is really prone to be reckless in the penalty box, which worries me a little bit. But going back to what you said, Brian, normally he has a brilliant game I think there's probably about 2 or 3 games maximum in an entire season to Walker has for. The rest of it, you're looking at 7 pluses out of 10 every week.
Yeah.
We can't really argue, can we, Willie? I want to bring you on to our leading goal scorer for this season, who I wasn't expecting to be one of the youngest lads in the team either, Phil Foden. Dave is he's literally got the world at his feet. What can he accomplish this season as a player?
He really has. You lads know I've been touting him for so long now that I honestly believe that he is going to be the catalyst for so much success for City. I honestly believe he's going to be our Steven Gerrard. I really do. For 10, 15 years, once our player, the De Bruyne's, Fernandinho's, etc., Aguero's kind of leave, I really think that Foden's going to be a captain for us, and I think he's going to lead us to a tremendous amount of success. I think he's got that. I think he's learnt his lesson from that whole England thing. I think he's raising his game. Look at the players who he's training with every week, which he absolutely loves. And I think, as me and Dan have kind of talked about before, Look at this new fresh load of players who are coming in, the Bellis, the Doyles, the Palmers, the Delaps. They're now looking up to Foden, this 20-year-old who's been there and done that. And I don't know if it was Halifax maybe who kind of posted some stats about the Scholes, Iniesta, Xavi, Lampard, Gerrard at the same age as Foden. They've not played anything like the amount of games. They've not scored anything like the amount of goals that Foden has. And if he keeps progressing, keeps his head down, as I said on that post a couple of weeks ago, I honestly think he's not only going to be the catalyst for success for City. I honestly believe, as a true English patriot, that this really could be his generation to lead us to a European Championship or something. I think he is that good.
I don't know if you have ever noticed this, right? I mean, regards to Foden, there has been games where he's been brilliant. A final, for instance, the League Cup final last year. For me, when he comes off, he's ticking his goals and his assists, but he's been good, but he hasn't been absolutely exceptional. You know what I mean? He's never watched the pitch and gone, whoa, geez, scored 2, set 3 up week in, week out. He's not at that level yet he's still one of our best players. He's still a goal and assist. When he comes, he's not setting the world on fire. He has a little bit here and there, but for sometimes he's in and out of the game a bit, and we still are one of our most productive players, and yet we've still got this to come. This consistency, this couple of games, couple of goals, running down the wing, creating real key chances. That is to come, and if he's our top scorer now, and he's not even in the team really, we've got so much to look forward to, because he's no way near what you can see it in him. He's got 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. The point that was made about him not knowing the moments in games where he's a little bit off it, he exerts a bit too much energy and he's running around like a headless chicken. That'll come down. He'll start to learn the game, learn the craft, and then that impact. Having that creativity, and he's one of our fastest players. There was a stat last season where he was the 10th fastest player in the Premier League in terms of sprint speed.
Who, Foden?
Phil Foden was the 10th fastest player in the Premier League last season recorded for a sprint. You don't associate that with him. So for me, he's now, but he's no way near a level where he can get to, and that is the exciting thing.
I have said before about Foden. You look at the way he runs. That I've never seen a player use their stride so well as he does. Like I've used the phrase, he runs like a gazelle. Like if you look how well he uses that stride of his, it's absolutely incredible. He covers ground so quickly because of that. And to go back to Brian's point, that's the thing for me that we were missing, and then Foden was able to turn it on. That little turn he made for his goal last night, no one else thought of doing that. There's not many players in the world, even at 20, would think. He just knew before the ball even arrived, I just need to take this little touch that's going to give me that space. Oh, I'm going to hit it with my weaker foot. And it was all about the placement. And he did that in a split second. And only the best players in the world can do that and think about everything they need to do.
We're only seeing that in small spurts in like 30 seconds here, minute there. It's not consistent, 30 minutes and a half. It's not 3 or 4 games in a row. Wait until he starts hitting that. Started the last 10 games, and in the last 10 games, he's got 11 assists and 12 goals, and it's not just the assists and the goals, it's the dominating performances. Gary Neville said it the other day when we played Chelsea. He's never seen Cesar Azpilicueta run ragged and manhandled like that in a game. And he's won a World Cup, and he said Phil Foden's 20 and he's turned him inside out. I've never seen it. And he's doing that now, so.
Can I be the negative one in the room about Phil Foden for a minute? Because every prodigal son, like what he is coming in, he's going to improve. He's going to get better. He's going to get better and better and better. So I'm thinking to myself, if I was his coaches, if I was Pep's team, what would I be saying? What would be, as a fan watching him play, what would be my biggest criticism of Phil in that? And one area that I think he needs to improve on would be, I think he needs to be stronger on the ball. I think there was a couple of opportunities yesterday when he turned players left, right and centre, and he was muscled off the ball and give fouls away, which is fantastic. We get a foul in dangerous areas. That's really good and positive. But if you watch some of the David Silvas, the Messis of the world, the Agueros of the world, the low centre of gravity, the strong, they can get pushed, but I tell you what, they can push back as well. If you give me Phil Foden with the strength of Sergio Aguero, we have a Ballon d'Or winner there.
Yeah.
The opportunity, where I'm getting at with this is, I watched it a few times. You see that skill where he did a couple of Cruyff turns and he turned 2 players inside out yesterday on the left-hand side of the wing, and he had the opportunity there. If that was Messi would have done the fancy bits, got past the 2 players, ran onto the penalty area and created a goal or scored himself.
But he was fouled after that one.
But watch it again, Dan. He was pushed off the ball far too easily. I've watched it a couple of times now. I've watched it a couple of times, and I'm obviously, you know as well as I do, Phil's my love child. I absolutely love the lad. But if I'm going to be one of his coaches, I'm thinking to myself, how can he improve? He gets stronger. It'll make his play, make his performance better.
I think what you're saying there is, I think we had arguably the best player that's ever done that at our team, David Silva. Over his career at City, you never got near him. He never looked like he was the ball. He managed to shield it. He was David Silva's like 5'6".
But he was strong with the ball as well, wasn't he?
It's not just his physical strength; it's his positioning, which makes it impossible for somebody to put a foot in. And like you're saying there with Foden, he definitely does get caught on the ball a lot. And I think once he learns how to shield the ball and and use his body strength, and he's only 20. He's probably got another year's worth. He might, what's he about 5'8" now? He might shoot up to 5'10", 11 in a year's time. Bulk out a bit, and that's when you start to see the physical strength. And if he's already throwing people around now and taking people on, imagine that.
Yeah, I'm telling you, if he can get that low centre of gravity and that solidity that Sergio got, and the awareness of his space that David Silva's got, honestly, he's got the world at his feet yesterday. I was just watching the game and thinking, right, I need to be critical today on Phil. I want to be, because he's doing really well at the minute. So what can we pick up on him? And it's just that I thought to myself, do you know what? If he improves that over the next 18 months, wow, what a player we've got there.
Yeah.
We know we have already, let's face it.
Yeah, he is 5'7", and lo and behold, guess what? David Silva is 5'7".
How tall Sergio? I bet he's not much taller.
Sergio's 5'7". No, Sergio's 5'8", I think.
Right. Okay. So,
but to your point, that low center of gravity and huge legs.
Yeah, exactly. Get some leg. Don't. So Phil, if you're listening to this, I know you're a fan of the show, mate. Don't skip leg day.
Yeah.
Is there any other players that jumped out to you yesterday? Dan, what about yourself? Anyone while you were watching it? Anyone jumped out to you?
I think Stones had a good game yesterday. I think we keep talking about Diaz and getting the best out of Stones. I think Stones had a marginally better game than Diaz yesterday. I really do. I thought he was fantastic, and I take my cap off to Halifax. I kind of put this on Facebook a couple of weeks ago that kept the faith in him, and Stones is repaying that. He's been absolutely fantastic for us, and I felt he had the better game of that centre back partnership last night.
Can't disagree with that, actually. He's done phenomenally well. I'm so happy for him.
Yeah.
Another player that's, for me, deserves an honourable mention is Edison. He had quite a good commanding game last night. He's, especially for me, I said he's probably the most under threat player at the moment, because Zach Steffen's coming and he's had a good few games for City. Was it 3 games he had, or was it just a 2? But either way, the games he's played, he's been solid. He's made some great saves. He really has put Edison under the cosh. But last night, Edison, the amount of corners we gave away, especially in the last 20 minutes, Edison was big. He was commanding. He wasn't just coming out and punching. He was coming and claiming the ball. Made a couple of good saves. He was solid last night.
Yeah, I wish he'd taken the penalty. And I know Pep's never going to let him take a penalty, but I still think if you gave Edison the ball, he'd plant it. He wouldn't get nervous like a Sterling or a De Bruyne. I think he'd bury it. I really do.
You said before about Pep's happy to let the players choose. What if they chose Edison?
That if he does,
we all know he would absolutely smash it in one of the top corners and just walk off cool as you like. But
I was going to say, as soon as he gets that penalty, he's going to smash it over the crossbar. That. He's bigged it up too much now.
Can I ask the question, though? Can I ask you guys the question? if you're in Pep's shoes, and I don't ever remember him saying Edison's never going to take a penalty. I know Edison said, I am the best penalty taker. At what point, at how low do we need to get to that point where we go, all right, cocky bollocks, there you go, take it. Just general question out there. How low does the 10 players that wear the blue shirt have to be to pass it to the lad in the green?
I think we had that, like the last 12 months, I think we had that chance to give it him. You know, everyone was missing.
Exactly.
I think if there was ever a chance, it was then. But I think it comes down more to being like a sportsman, you know, letting your goalkeeper take penalties. It's not something that you see everywhere, if at all, really. And I think it'd be kind of taking the mick if he was letting Edison bang one in it with 5-0, you know, just for the head. It would be with headlines, wouldn't it? At the end of the day.
Pep's not like that either, is he? He's not. No. He's not a shithouse in that scenario. He's very much plays the line, and
that's what I think.
He's very political, isn't he? But again, if it's the player's choice, it's not Pep's choice. If the players are choosing,
whenever we come on,
line him in a penalty shootout.
Say again, sorry.
Why is it whenever we come on to this topic, I'm the only one that says I don't actually want him to do it because I'd rather him stay in net because he will eventually miss one. You know, one of them will eventually be balls, unless he does go, like, what was it, Yaya Toure, I think, was it 10 penalties out of 10 he scored or something like that, something similar.
I mean, with Edison's technique, the way he hits the ball, if anything, if it doesn't go in, it's gonna either go straight out for a corner, because if the keeper gets a touch on that, it's not going anywhere where he won't be able to get back to the net.
But with Edison, though,
simply taking a penalty if it was 1-1 in the 88th minute, you wouldn't want Edison taking a penalty then. I mean,
I know. I can just see
getting back.
I can just see the cheeky chip coming into his game, though. I can. He's just one of them players. I don't know what it is about him. You give him a penalty, you're like, go on then. We're 5-0 up. Just have a go. I can see just going, do you know what? Little Panenka.
No, I think he just absolutely smash it to make a point. Probably the most powerful penalty you've ever seen taken.
Yeah.
Right, let's move on to the game on Sunday. So we've got Crystal Palace at the Etihad, 7:15 kickoff, Sunday. It's live on Sky Sports. That means I'm 3.5 minutes behind you. Lee Mason's the referee. So the doubts, we've got doubts at Ake and Laporte. Confirmed outs are Garcia, Aguero and Palmer. So the squad is as follows: Edison, Stefan, Walker, Cancelo, Stones, Diaz, Howard Bellis and Bet, Zinchenko, Mendy, Rodri, Gundogan, Fernandinho, De Bruyne, Silva, Torres, Mahrez, Foden, Sterling, Jesus, Nemecha and Delap. That is the squad that will be facing Palace. So, predicted lineups. Shall I go first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm playing 4-3-3. I've got Edison, Cancelo, Stones, Diaz and Mendy. I think Cancelo will keep his place over Walker. I'm going to go for Rodri and Gundogan and De Bruyne, Foden, Sterling and Jesus. Okay. Yeah, so what do you think of that, lads? What are your thoughts on that? Should we start off in the back four? Dan, what are you thinking? Do you think Zinchenko is going to retain his place, or do you think he's going to drop for Mendy?
I don't even think that. I think Cancelo will play left back, Ruben Diaz, John Stones, of course, and Walker will fill in right back with Scott Carson in goal. I just seen Tom. I was just waiting for that person. Hang on, what? No, back four: Cancelo, Diaz, Stones, and Walker.
No shout for Mendy then.
Nah, I hope not. Anyway, I'm sick of him now. I know he wears the blue shirt. I just can't be doing with him anymore.
Dave, what are you thinking?
See, I'm thinking that we might keep the same team as last night, but potentially change Mahrez for Sterling, and everything else will stay the same. I'm very much, as you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We kept a clean sheet. Brighton gave us a decent game.
Yeah.
But I think we played well. I don't think anyone deserves really to lose the spot. But Sterling needs some time. He's fit again. Needs some confidence. I think if we start Sterling, then I think he might chip in with that goal. Oh, that would be my hope. So I probably got that completely wrong, but only change I'd make is Mahrez for Sterling.
All I'm thinking is on the Wednesday following, we got Villa at 6 o'clock kickoff, so there's only a couple of sleeps to rejuvenate the squad. I think there's going to be changes. I'm like you, Dave. I think you play your strongest team possible every game, and then you drop one if someone's injured, needs rest time, etc., etc., etc. But I think with the squad we've got, I think he's got to rotate, and I think he's got to give a couple of players match time, and I really do think he'll start Sterling just out of pure arrogance. It's not really arrogance, is it? I think it's not really the right word, arrogance, is it? I don't think, but you know what I mean.
In the back foot, I think he'll choose Walker over Cancelo on the right hand side purely for the fact Crystal Palace have got quite a bit of pace up front in Zaha plays on that front left hand side.
Yeah,
I don't think Cancelo would deal with him very well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for that reason, I think that's why Walker would start. Maybe Cancelo will play left back.
good shout. Yeah, I like that. What's your thoughts on the starting three, lads? Up front, I mean.
I take it's a given for the midfield three then. The Gundogan, Rodri, De Bruyne.
It's got to be Ant. It's got to be Ant. Any argument to stick Fernandinho in there?
Yeah.
I think Fernandinho will start against Aston Villa, and they'll put him in there to see what he's like against Luiz. Have those two in there and see what the stats are like, because Villa are a good team. Villa play well and they are fluid. I think it'll be a good test to see what sort of match day stats, running, distance cover, positioning that they can get out of him in comparison to Luiz. I think it'd be, to see the two on the pitch together at the same time. I think that's where you see whether or not Luiz has got what it takes to maybe step up to that position. We all know we've got that right back. I think that's a good chance for him to play there and drop Rodri and stick him in that game. If I was a manager, that's what I would do if I was thinking outside the box.
Yeah. Do you think he might want to somewhat man-mark Grealish as well? With Fernandinho is such a clever player. I think he will start against Villa, and I think it might be a bit as well as...
I think Walker could deal with Grealish all day, to be fair.
You think?
I don't think Grealish he's good, but I don't think he's got a better beating a Walker. Walker would have kicked him up and down for fun in the England training sessions they've had him. He would have. He ain't getting past him for pace. He ain't cutting inside on him, I don't think so.
Yeah.
How do you think the game will play out, lads?
Cagey.
About Crystal Palace, there's something about us playing Crystal Palace I don't like. I never had.
Well, I brought it up last night with Tom saying they remind me too much of Blackburn at Ewood Park. They're just that talky type team. You know it's going to go one way or the other. In the past few results against them haven't all been in City's favour, have they? It always takes me back to that Andres Townsend absolute worldie.
Great goal, actually.
And then that was it 2-2 or 1-1 a few years ago, a couple of years ago when they had a penalty in like the 91st minute or something like that, and Milivojevic missed it. Always scrappy. Is it at Selhurst Park? Oh no, it's at home, isn't it? That gives me more confidence actually.
I think if there's ever a team we play and if we're due an iffy game, and it takes a team to have a really good game and win and beat us at home, it's always Crystal Palace. They've always got that in them. They have that in them to play out the skins when we don't turn up and it's an embarrassing result, or a draw. Tomorrow's, the Crystal Palace game's a harder game for me than what Brighton was or will be, or had been.
Yeah. I think if Hodgson watched last night, which he probably did, I wish more managers would set up to give us a game rather than just putting the players behind the ball. And, as Tom said, they potentially could have walked away with a draw last night. If Hodgson's taken anything away from last night, and it's the same every season, these teams who show up and have a go at City and put us on the back foot a little bit, they have a lot more success. Even if they lose the game, they don't tend to get an absolute battering. So, if he's telling Zaha and Townsend, whoever else, go and have a go, could be a bit more of an open game. Very confident in our defence right now. I can see us doing better with a team that's maybe not as good defensively. I think Palace have shipped quite a few goals this season, haven't they? that we could have quite a bit of success if they come out and try and have a go at us.
There's one player I think will sneak under the radar, and that's Eze. He is a talented young lad, and he's the unknown Phil Foden in my eyes. He's very quick, he's very clinical, and he dribbles like he's been doing it for years. Not Harry Kane style, obviously, but he knows how to get a ball around the player and still find the back of the net, and he's going to be a pain in the ass at the weekend.
Well, you're looking at Palace in the league. They're not pulling up any trees, are they? They're 13th. They won the last match. From the last 5 games, they've won 1, drawn 2, lost 2. So we need to. This is every game's a must-win game for City, obviously. But this is, we need to be careful here. We need to have our best defence. We need to have everyone absolutely firing all cylinders, and we need to take our chances. We need massively. Like Dan, it's like what I said last night, and like what I said against the game of Birmingham. We need to get that first goal early, calm things down, and then just keep going at them. Because obviously, as soon as we get that first goal, they'll come out more. They'll come at us more and give us the opportunity to take them on the flank and get the.
I think especially because they had the same kind of moment that Southampton had when they got pasted. Was it Southampton got beat 9 and Palace got beat 7 off Liverpool recently, didn't they? But they've got pride to play over, and they won't want to be on the end of another pasting, which, it's quite possible we could do that. So they are going to be tight, they're going to be rigid, they are going to be, heavily drilled in positional 2 banks of 4 all day long. So it needs to be a tough game for that in that respect.
So let's go for your predictions, lads. Brian, let's start with you.
I'm going to say we're going to win 3. It's going to be 3-2. It's going to be a tight 3-2 win.
You think we'll concede
goals? I'm going to give away a clean sheet against Palace here, 3-2.
Oh, Dave, what we thinking?
God, I hate saying this because I know I'm a bit of a voodoo, but I think we're playing so well defensively at the moment. I'm going to go 2-0 City.
Oh, you predicted a win.
Sorry.
Oh, God.
Dave. Dan.
4-1 Palace to get the first goal.
I don't think I've ever heard you say another team's going to score.
Well, it's been that long since I didn't predict that Watford 8-0, and I've sort of given up on these realistic scorelines of 7 or 8-0.
Well,
the team doesn't seem to want to listen to me, and they just seem to settle for 2 or 3-0. So I'm getting a bit bored of it now. So I thought, Sodom, we'll concede first, and then we'll score 4.
we need to get Mystic Meg Laney on it. I'm just seeing if he's online right now, and he's not, because he always gets the score right, particularly if he's not putting a bet on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he wasn't very happy about that, was he? I do want to have a reminder to him that he did predict for Pep Guardiola to get sacked as well, so all his things don't come true.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's I do have a chat to him about that in a couple of weeks.
And what's this one? He's got a big bet with Halifax, right? Isn't there some tattoo bet going on at the end of this season about something?
Yeah. What was it? I can't remember what it was.
Whoever wins other than City the league, they have Halifax has to get Laney has to get the tattoo of the manager who won the title with whatever team it is. So if United won it, he's got to get a tattoo of Ollie on him.
It's not happening, is it?
No, God, it's not going
on. And what does Halifax have to get tattooed? Because he's got a pretty bad one as well, I think. If he loses the bet.
I'm pretty sure Halifax said something very sweary and followed it with no way. If I remember right, I can't remember what the bet was. We're going to have to find out, because I'll tell you what, we're going to stick him to that. What was the show, lads? Do we remember? We need to use that for future benefit.
Yeah, it was a while ago. But I tell you what, Laney will definitely remember.
Yeah, he will. Right, we're going to settle up now, lads. Anything else to add before we shoot off?
Yeah, I mean, I think I just want to add that, and we've talked about this a lot on our Discord too, but I would like at some stage for us to have a podcast special about Aguero and let's talk about this legend and his 9 appearances this season, just the 2 goals. I know it's not injury related, but he's out again. Probably not going to see him until end of January, beginning of February. out of contract at the end of the season. You know, I think we should get a big MIB special going on, and just let's have a chat about what we think is the right thing for this legend to do. You know, for himself, for the club, you know, for the fans, because it's a biggie.
So that's got to be one before the end of the season, then, hasn't it? That's going to be sort of February, March time. We need to be doing that. So that's a special Blues. I like the idea of that very much. Dave, can you remember that? I'll forget. If you can remember and prompt us, we'll get a nice Thursday night, an hour or so set up for doing that. That'd be a good one.
Definitely,
statistic one. Anything else to add, lads?
Yeah, he's a bit overrated, like though, isn't he? Let's be honest.
He's done all right.
I'd like to add quickly.
38 million for that. What a load of crap.
He's no Wilfred Boney, is he? Let's face it.
I'd just like to add, we've been watching the social medias and stuff today. It's nice to see Jason McAteer ruffling a few feathers for the weekend.
What's he said?
He has said Man United are in a false position. And obviously now the bandwagon has started. Who is the Jason McAteer? And it's funny to see.
Oh, I love that.
He's right, though, let's be honest.
And wind each other up.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah, as long as those two destroy each other, we're okay. We'll just keep in the background, slowly chipping away. Come on, City! Come on, Blue Boys! Big game on Sunday. We'll speak to you then. Thank you for watching.
Right.
Thank you. Please subscribe to Facebook. If you're listening to this on a podcast, it literally takes. If you're listening to this, if you've taken the time to listen to this for the last hour or so, it'll take you 2 minutes to scroll down on your phone and leave us a 5-star review. Honestly, if you enjoyed this, please leave us a review. They do help us massively reach more Blues like you. Thank you very much, everybody. This has been the Manchester's Blues Show. Good night, lads.
Right.
Take you till we die.
Bye-bye.